Okay, welcome back to another week of masterclasses. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 best comps to play on the new patch. So now it's patch 13.21. The multicasters is over. Hooray for those who didn't play. And if you did play multicasters, then that's unfortunate. But we'll talk about new comps that you can play instead. This is the hotfix patch, so Demacia, the bug is reverted. So now it's just regular, there's no extra stats, and player damage is reverted as well. So we'll talk about major changes, what changed from the previous patch, 13.20. And then the 3 main cons we'll talk about is the rise of challengers again. Plenty of buffs. I think 3 core units were buffed. Kai'Sa got a double buff from last patch, so that's 2 patches consecutive. And then challengers in itself got a buff. Talk about Noxus, Sorcs, and then honorable mentions. These are comps that have been good for a couple patches now. No big changes to them this patch, and then we'll just talk about them really briefly. But if you're more interested in them, then check out the previous week's video. Okay, let's talk about Legends real quick. So TF is still being played, but now when you play TF, you're most likely leaning towards specific comps that really need specific items. So like Bilgewater, your Nyla, your double RFC, Rapid Fire Cannon, Sorcs, you definitely need your tiers and your AP items, not your bows. And then Mordekaiser, same thing with Bilge. You're looking for your bows for your Mordekaiser, RFC. So that's if you're playing TF. Urf is the most flexible one right now, and I believe one of the most played Urf and TF. It's just super flexible. Like, this is an emblem meta, so having a +1, there's many different lines that you could play: Demacia, Noxus, Ionia. So by playing Urf, it really gives you direction really early, and your game gets pretty easy, and you know what to do. Ezreal is very solid, nothing too crazy, but pretty consistent. Just having more items is always good. And then Poro, we'll talk about when you can play Poro. It's really good with challengers for your combo augments, but it does not give you that much of a direction early, and it can be very first rate. So let's do with Legends. Some big nerfs is multicasters. So in my opinion, multicasters is no more. TF, Sona, and Vel'Koz nerf, and multicaster in general was nerfed, so this is just not a comp anymore. It's way too punishing. Maybe if you get Golden Ticket, even though Golden Ticket got nerfed as well, so I would not recommend playing that. Starting mana in general got nerfed, so blue buff has 20 less starting mana, and then Vow got less starting mana as well. And then some really good items, Crown Guard and Gargoyles. Gargoyles another reason why multicaster comp is not good, because of the lowered resistance it gives now. So some buffs. Challengers is I don't want to say it's like fully back, but now it's playable. Challengers in itself got a buff along with Kai'Sa and Fiora. So you see Fiora has more health. Technically Fiora is a double buff because she got buffed last patch as well. So that's 2 buffs. I think Kai'Sa as well got a buff last patch and this one as well. So if you want to play your challengers, you now have the option to again. Misfortune and Nautilus. So there is some Bilgewater Bilgewater variants that is playable. 7 Bilgewater, so this is, you would go Twisted Fate or Urf, it's up to you, but Twisted Fate's a bit easier because then you could guarantee your double RFC and your Giant Slayer for your Nyla. Misfortune damage got buffed, her mana got buffed as well to compensate for the blue buff nerf, and then Nautilus's resistances got buffed as well. And then the very last one, I don't have it on the slide, but Silco and Ahri got buffed, so both of their damages are increased, and Silco even has a -5 mana buff, so now he's at 45 instead of 50, which makes Shojin on him a lot more playable. So that's the major changes. We'll talk about challengers, Sorcs, and then also Noxus. We won't be talking about build today, but maybe if you're curious about that, leave a comment, and we will touch upon that maybe next week. Okay, let's get into the best comps to play on this patch. The first one is challengers. So there's really 2 ways you can play it. You can play challengers without a +1, and it's 4 challengers, and if you have a challenger +1, then you'll be playing 6 challengers. What is this? It's front to back mixed damage because you both have AD from Fiora and you have your AP magic damage from your Kai'Sa. So it's harder for your enemies to itemize perfectly against you. And also this is fast paced. You want the fight to be over as soon as possible. Challengers get that first takedown ASAP, give everyone double attack speed, and then just snowball the fight from there. So this is what your boards are going to look like. We'll talk about the first one mainly. This is going to be on level 7. Basically, you're going to be either going level 7 on 3-5 if you're super rich, or 4-1 if you have like standard money and you want to stabilize with your Fiora 2 and your Kai'Sa 2. These are the best items put on them. Kai'Sa, you definitely need Shojin. Shojin also got a buff, so this is why this comp is back. There's just so many buffs, like Fiora double buffed, Kai'Sa double buffed, Nasus has a buff, Challengers in general has a buff, so super good. you want to be going Shojin, Jewel Gauntlet, and then your +1. This can be Guardbreaker, this can be even Hodge, this can be, I mean, Archangels is okay, but you want the fight to be over faster. So honestly, your +1 is just whatever else you have, even like Giant Slayer. Fiora, you will have your Demacia item on her, the Radiant, and then some form of healing. And Titans is good. You could also go Night Harvester. It's not too specific. Well, it's pretty specific, but as long as you have like some healing and then like either Night Harvester or Titans, something like that. And then, yeah, put your tank items on your Nasus and then your mana items on your Jarvan, and you should be set to go. Once you have Fiora 2 and Kai'Sa 2, you could start going level 8, unless you're low HP or you have one of like Jarvan pair, Nasus pair, and then you'll try to get those 2 starred. So this is pretty ideal with Poro and Urf. Poro is because this comp really needs combat augments. So either Gifts of the Fallen, it's not good early, but if you're able to get Gifts on the Fallen on like 4-2, then it's acceptable. Tons of stats, same thing. I wouldn't say it's too good early, but like combat augments are still combat augments. Long distance pals, combat caster, idealism, does anything to help boost the damage of your board. And let's say you do get a +1, maybe you're playing Earth, maybe it's Bandle Cafeteria, or you just get dropped a spat. You want to go 6 challengers, put your challenger emblem on your Aatrox, and you can even itemize him as well with like a Quicksilver Sash and like Infinity Edge. If you don't have Aatrox, then you can just play Nasus instead, and then until you get him, until you get Aatrox and Challenger Emblem your Quinn in the meantime. So that's Challengers, pretty good. I wouldn't say it's a top 1 comp, but I'd say maybe like a top 3, top 4, unless you super high roll. So yeah, pretty good. Second one is Noxus. Honestly, it's pretty simple. We're going to be playing Vertical Noxus here. I mentioned it's an emblem meta, so any +1s is really good. So you're going to be wanting to play Earth. You can also play TF because then you could go Rapid Fire Cannon super easy, and you really need best in slot Mordekaiser to play this unit because Mordekaiser without good items just doesn't do anything. So what is this? Nashor's Giant Slayer +1, and Nashor's of course is to give the attack speed so he can start attacking fast. Giant Slayer is just damage. You already get so much ability power from Noxus. You don't need a Rabadons or anything like that. You just need more amplifiers. And then your +1 is kind of utility. RFC to keep you safe so you can actually do damage. QS, so Quicksilver, to keep attacking, and then you don't even have to frontline him if you have QS. And then Edge of Night is kind of like a budget of these, just having some sort of like utility to help you stay alive and keep attacking is super good. In this Noxus board, you're going to be wanting to +1 your Azir, give him the Noxus emblem, and then you want to have some form of shred. So putting Azir, giving him a static shiv is super good, and then Azir uses Nash's as well. So this is why I was saying like TF is also acceptable in here because you need a lot of bow, like 1, 2, 3 from Mordekaiser, and then 4, 5 from Azir. So it's very like item dependent and item specific, but either or works, Earth or TF. And then you'll be playing 7 Noxus. Honestly, if you have a Noxus start, you're going to be in a much better spot because then you can start getting those Noxus stacks early. And then on most likely 4-1, you're going to send it to try to get 7 Noxus. If you don't have Scion yet, just play Samira, it's okay. And then you could go from there. And then if you don't have Azir yet, then you could play Nefiri and give Nefiri the emblem in the meantime. So it's super good. If you end up getting like +2 Noxus, you can even go like +9 Noxus on level 9, or if you have a Tactician's Crown, you could do it on level 8, and then that is a first place comp for sure. Okay. Oh, one last thing. On level 8, playing Aatrox is super good. It gives you Juggernaut, gives you Slayer, and then Darken is just really good in general. So that's that for Noxus. The next one is Sorc. So you might have heard about like the Korean Taric Sorc tech. Taric got nerfed, his mana pool is now larger, and Gargoyle got nerfed, so I wouldn't recommend going the double Gargoyle Quicksilver Taric anymore. I think itemizing Swain is fine, unless you have somehow a Taric 3 and only a Swain 2, then of course itemize your 3-star unit. But regardless, Sorcs, this is front to back. This is a magic damage composition. I don't want to say it's the ability power version of Challengers because Challengers is mixed, but this is like just like AP fast damage comp. Yeah, so ideal with Earth or TF. Earth because Sorcs you really want a +1, and then your +1 you're going to put it on Shen. Sorcs will give him more AP. More AP on Shen means bigger shields, and that's always good. Or TF, because once again, this comp is really item specific, like your Silco or your Vel'Koz, even your Ahri if you're depending on what route you're going. So getting best in slot is super good with Pandora's items. I'd say the two common routes for Sorc is on level 7, you're going to itemize your Silco, and then you want to go level 8 for Ahri, and then have like an Ahri Silco duo, or you could go level 7 and go for your Vel'Koz 3, Tark 3, Swain 3, reroll out. So either or works depending on your augments. If you have Econ, if it's more of a, if it's like the Yordles, oh, I forget the name, sorry, but the portal where you get extra XP as you level up, then you could go level 9 easier, and then maybe play for Ahri. So it depends on your portals and your items and also your augments. And then very last one is, this is a magic damage composition again, so you need some sort of magic resist shred. So this can be Ionic Spark. Ionic Spark is better than Shiv here because a lot of your damage comes out really fast. So before your 3 auto attacks gets off your Shiv, you want to have the enemy's magic resisted shredded first. Augments with this comp, Overcharged Manafont is super good. Of course, you're playing vertical Sorcs, so augment that buffs all Sorcs are good. And then any Sorc +1, Sorc Heart, Sorc Crest, Sorc Soul helps you out a lot. So this is the level 7 Silco reroll Vel'Koz board. And then the one on the bottom here is going to be your Ahri board. This is your level 8. I know it's a bit high roll because this is Heimerdinger and Ahri, but if you get this, this is the higher capped Sorc version, and Ahri just got a buff, and it's super good. Okay, so those are the kind of new comps that have emerged in this meta. I'll just talk about honorable mentions. So these are comps that you can still play. They've been mentioned before, but still playable, still very good, and you could top one with them in certain scenarios. So first one, once again, is Cho'Gath plus backline flex. I want to emphasize on this bottom one here, Kai'Sa got another buff, right? And Shojin got a buff as well. So I think playing Kai'Sa as your flexible backline is super good. So once again, don't level at all early, accumulate your gold, send it on level 4, on 3-1, and then you can either like slow roll for Cho'Gath on level 5 throughout stage 3, or if you do hit, then you're set to go. You can either go Cassio 3 and then just start pumping levels from there, but if you don't hit Cassio, then it's okay to start pumping after Cho'Gath 3, and then you could just play flexible backline like Mordekaiser or Kai'Sa. This comp has been around for a while. It's still good. Not as good as it used to be, but still playable. And yeah. The other one is Demacia Quinn. So Demacia is still really good, even without the bug from the previous of the hot patch, the hot fix. It's still really good. You either play like the Kale version, double Rage Blade, and then you keep your Demacia item, and then you just play Vertical Bastion. Or you could play the Quinn Slayer version. Either you could go Quinn 3 with Last Whisper Infinity Edge with Mordekaiser as your duo. If you have a Demacia +1, then Mordekaiser gets Baron's Grit. Basically just Radiant Nashers, super good, gives him a ton of attack speed, AP, and then either an RFC or QS to enable him to do his damage. Remember that mana items still go on Jarvan, even though it was nerfed, giving a starting mana on Jarvan is really important. Okay, and that's it. So hopefully today's video helped you out, and if you have any questions, let me know, and thank you for watching.